Hey ladies, do you ever say to yourself, I wish I didn't have to diet? I hear you. That used to be me for 40 years. I'm Lisa Dahl, intuitive eating and body image health coach, and I now take my personal or past dieting experience to support women to break free from dieting, undiet their life, so that they too can be happy, healthy, and confident at any size. In this video, I'm going to share with you what it is like to be on the other side. You have ditched the diet and you are now an intuitive eater, to help you understand what that actually feels and looks like. What is that experience? If you like this video, please share it with another woman who may be struggling with their relationship to food and body. So let's dive in. To begin with, intuitive eating is a journey. It takes time, practice, patience, and compassion. Think back to when you were a little girl and you were learning to ride a bike. You either had your parents or a caregiver, somebody who was helping you, supporting you, coaching you on how to do it. And you would get on the bike and you'd be really hopeful and you would fall off and perhaps scrape your knee, but you would get back up and somebody was cheering you on. And this could take days, weeks, months, depending on how you learned. Eventually, you all of a sudden noticed, like, wow, I'm riding a bike, and you were so excited. You were so proud and empowered, and it felt amazing. That is what it's like to feel like when you become an intuitive eater. So over the past few weeks, I have been sharing what that journey looks like. And if you've missed any of those videos, click below in the comments and you can catch up. Don't worry about it if you haven't watched them quite yet. Right now, focus on imagining this being you and what it is like to be an intuitive eater. And I know this from my experience. I have been stuck in that diet trap thinking that there is no way out, to really experiencing what the name of my programs are: Body, Peace, and Food Freedom, because that is what the experience is like. You have learned to trust your intuitive eating or your intuitive abilities. And what I'm talking about specifically is learning to honor your hunger, or you have learned to honor your hunger. You eat when you're hungry. You feel your fullness. You make a choice. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel comfortably full? Or sometimes we choose to feel overly full because something is so delicious, and you no longer feel the guilt with your food choices or how you feel the quantity of what you're eating. You feel confident in your relationship with food because things have become a choice. There's no more good foods, bad foods, and restrictions. You are learning to enjoy, or you have learned to enjoy, the eating experience. You have food security. And this is really, really important, and something that as dieters we really don't pay attention to. As dieters, we do a lot of restriction and deprivation. And we think it's no big deal, that we think it's a choice. Unfortunately, our bodies don't understand the choice. Our bodies believe that every time we restrict and deprive, that we are in a famine. And then what happens is that our bodies can only take it for so long, and then we refeed or binge. What happens during the intuitive eating process is that we are building trust with our body. And this is so important, because when our bodies trust that food is coming at the next snack or the next meal, that there's always another opportunity to eat, our binges are now gone. We have built that trusting relationship because we are eating when we're hungry. We're stopping when we're full. We have created a different relationship, and the binging is diminished. And I know that is a hard concept to believe, but it is where you will be when you really ditch the diet. You are no longer labeling yourself an emotional eater. Imagine what that feels like. So I'm not saying that you're not going to feel your emotions. Yes, you are still going to feel stress, anxiety, if you struggle with depression, loneliness, boredom, whatever your emotional experiences are, you will feel them. And you will have learned how to cope or manage them with kindness, which means that you have created a self-care toolbox, other tools in addition to the proverbial cookie box. You will have learned how to sit with your emotions, not fear them and stress out about them. You are learning how to, or have learned how to be with them. We feel them coming in. Now you have learned to sit with them and wait for them to pass, because they do pass, and you now know that they pass, and you have the skills to help you with those challenging emotions. You are now choosing movement and exercise that makes you feel good. And this is something that, again, I keep saying things are really important because they are also important, and they make the experience of being an intuitive eater so gratifying and satisfying. So when we talk about movement that you enjoy, we're no longer focused on shrinking our bodies. So an example is, I love to run, and I would run no matter how much my body hurt. Now I love to run, but I've also learned to listen to my signals, and that I do practices to get rid of the pain. I don't work through the pain. I choose exercise and movement based on how I feel mentally, emotionally, and physically that day. I have permission to turf it. Nourishing our body as an act of self-care. And this is very different, because when we're dieting, we choose foods based on I can or I can't, it's a good food or a bad food. When we nourish our bodies as an act of self-care, we are choosing to eat foods that make us feel good. Doesn't happen all the time. If you love ice cream and you're lactose intolerant, most of the time you will probably choose not to have that because you don't want to have a stomach ache or gastric distress. Sometimes you will choose that, the taste and the flavor and the enjoyment is really what you want, and that's okay. You are focusing on how you want to feel. It is always going to be a choice. And this is the thing that gave me the most freedom mentally in my life, was that I was no longer attached to the number on the scale of determining my self-worth. Every day, I no longer walk into the bathroom and, make sure I'm naked, making sure I've gone to the bathroom before I shower, don't want wet hair. The scale is no longer a part of my life. And that is such a freeing experience. So to recap, when you have become an intuitive eater, and yes, it takes time, patience, practice, and compassion, when you get to the other side, you are now the expert on you. You can trust that you know best for your body. You have connected your mind, your body with your food. And the thing that I always say that I love the best is that we are no longer a prisoner to our scales. We have learned to just be and accept our bodies, and that we are doing the best that we can. So if you are ready to learn how to ditch the diet, learn about my body, peace, and food freedom methodology, click that calendar link, let's talk, so that I can share with you how I can support and coach you through the process. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.